My name is Lisa, and I'm an internal support coordinator with WEX FSM, and I wanted to welcome you all to today's session of Solution Studio. Today, we're working on maintenance plans, setup of maintenance plans, and recurring revenue. So let's first talk about why you'd want to have maintenance plans for your company, because some people don't have them. And I believe that this is a measurement of the value of your company. So the more maintenance plans you have, the more solid your customer base is, and the more often you're touching them. And you have additional revenue generated outside of your regular install and service business that is predictable income. So you have the option to have the customer pay up front for the plan, where you'll see a bulk increase in your cash flow at one time, or you can have the option to make it easier to sell your maintenance plans to your customers by offering a low monthly payment that automatically generates income in the background every month. Those recurring payments just roll in the background, and you don't have to do anything on those. You just have to go out and do the service windows for the maintenance plan and then renew them at the end of their term. This increases your monthly cash flow, and you can schedule the service windows during non-peak seasons so that your techs have something to do during those times. Some companies are too small to be big and too big to be small. And this means that peak season, it feels like they don't have enough employees. But during the seasons when it's slow, they feel like they don't have enough work to keep their employees busy. So if you plan the service windows during your slow seasons, you can keep your employees busy, service your customers, and have additional income during these slow times. For example, if you do AC work in Florida, most of your work is done in the early spring and late fall, and then it cools down a little, and the no heat calls are few and far between because everybody in Florida just opens their windows. It doesn't get that cold down in Florida except for maybe like a month or so in there, or unless the people are elderly and then they like to keep it at 90 degrees. So, what do you do with your employees? You can schedule your maintenance plan service windows during November to check their heat, and in the spring, in March, as things start to warm up before they go crazy and your busy season starts. So, let's take a look at some of the parts of the software that all work together for maintenance plans. So, maintenance plans are tied to your price book. So, depending on how you do your price book in the system, there are certain things that you want to take a look at. If you offer a discount to anybody for having a maintenance plan, you would need to go under More Applications, Price Book, and go down to Pricing Defaults. Anytime you see a yellow banner in the system, that's a warning. And this warning says that any changes made to the pricing strategy's default sections will take effect when creating new products in the price book. And existing products in the price book will remain unchanged unless you update them manually. So you can have bulk updates done to your price book by a support request by reaching out to customer support. But when you plan your price book, they have to make sense in like folders. So you can't just go in and pick one item from one price book category and one item from another price book category to update. You have to do it either by updating the whole price book or being able to tell the data team which categories in your price book you want to do the updates to. So when you set up your price book, this is crazy important that you get this right moving forward. Otherwise, you're going to be doing some updating. Okay. This field here is locked for maintenance plans. So if a customer has a maintenance plan and you create an invoice for them, it is going to default your pricing in your price book to this 10% discount. So if you create like a spring special that's $99 and you're not going to give anybody a discount on it because it is the lowest that you can do for this service and you're offering it as a special to your customers. So you can go into your price book. Let me show you over here and go down to service. And under the details, you have the options to turn any of these pricing strategies off. So if you had a $99 special, you could come in and change it to off for the $99 for everybody. And then when you add it to a job form, it's not going to offer up those discounts. So that's the way the discounts work in our price book and in our system. So it automatically offers up the maintenance plan discount if they have a price, and it will say available savings for anybody who doesn't have one so that you can try to get them to sign up for a maintenance plan. Okay, so making sure that these are all set up correctly. And if you haven't gone through the price book webinar, you can have these be negative. So negative 10% for maintenance plan, negative 15% for friends and family, negative 20 for military, but you also have the option to upsell this. So it's like for overtime, you can make it a positive number and it will mark that price in the price book up 25%. But if you want more about that, you can come to the price book webinar or review that under the Solution Studios recordings. So now we've got our pricing defaults in place. We know how our price book works. Let me go ahead and close this. And for those of you who haven't done it, let me show you price book and my price book categories. This is where you build your categories. Those are the folders that I talked about. So if you have to do a pricing update, it's not loading. This is a test account. Sometimes it does that. So there will be categories that you can go in your price book. Let's see if it'll go for a regular price book or if my internet is having issues today. Nope, can't do it. Okay, so there will be folders in your price book. So the other thing that you have to go to is the settings and job preferences. And this is where there's some back end toggles that you can change in your system to affect how things look on jobs, job forms, and appointments. Don't ever try to change the job number because when you start, you're assigned a job number and those jobs are loaded. If you decide that I want to go back to 10,000 for some reason and you put 10,000 in here, you're going to have duplicate job numbers. So when you go to search a job number or go to look at reporting, you're going to have duplicates. So unless there's a really good reason to change this, I would leave it alone. You can come down in here and you can go turn on auto generate invoices for recurring maintenance plans. And this is going to allow you to sell the maintenance plan, offer them a low monthly payment, and for the system to auto generate an invoice anytime that payment is run. So that keeps you from creating an invoice and having the full amount due, creating those recurring payments to satisfy it. And then each month, when those payments run, you have to go back and reassign it to that original invoice. And the customer balance looks off because if they have a recurring maintenance plan payment, they're on track. If they pay on time every month, they're on track. They shouldn't have a balance on there. So we would like to turn this on to generate recurring maintenance plans invoices. Okay, there's also another one in here. If you never want to give a discount for having a maintenance plan, you can turn it off globally here. Make sure that you always read these little I's so that you can make sure that you understand what you're turning on and off. We have these throughout our whole system. Whenever you see an I, just take a look and it says default value for maintenance plan savings on invoices and proposals. And since it's blue, it's on. Now, some of these, I don't know if you guys have ever voted and how sometimes people put things on the ballot that seems like a double negative. You're unsure whether to choose yes or no. So remember to always check these to make sure that you have the toggle set correctly. And if you're not sure, set the toggle, go to your example customer, create a test invoice. And that will be your best way to double check to make sure that you have your settings correct because it can get confusing. You guys are in the business to provide service to your companies. You're not computer people. So at least most of them, some of you guys are, but this will make sure that you're getting it set correctly for you. Okay. So How do you build your maintenance plans? So when you come to more applications, maintenance plans, this is where you create your templates. Some people get a little bit confused that you need to create a maintenance plan for each customer, and that's not the way it works. You make a maintenance plan template and then you assign it to the customer when you sell it. So sometimes you'll have multiple. This is our test account. Everybody goes in here to try to break it. We've got 15 archived plans, and we have multiple plans that you can choose from in here. You can assign a color code to the star so that when anybody pulls up a customer, they will see that code color next to the customer's name and they'll know what kind of plan they have. If you have this many plans, it's going to be hard to keep track, but most people have 3 or 4 that they sell regularly. Sometimes they do silver, bronze, and gold, good, better, best. They may name it with a name that's kind of catchy with their name, or they may just go 1 system, 2 system, whatever they normally call it for their customers. So you create a new maintenance plan template by having a plan name. If you tab, so I'll go plan 1, it's going to populate this for the QuickBooks item name. So if you sync, this is the name of the item that will sync to QuickBooks. If it's in use already, it will tell you and it'll try to put a little extension on there so that the plan name might not be this exact same as the QuickBooks name if you already have that name in play in QuickBooks already. In the plan description, you put in here what you're going to offer. 1 year plan, 2 visits, whether you're going to include the filter, whether you're not going to include the filter, what you plan to offer for the value that you're giving them. You can choose the color code here by clicking in our palette and choosing a color. And you can come in and choose the contract length. Some people like to go until cancel and then set up that automated invoicing and recurring payment. So it just runs in the background until the customer cancels. Some people want to do a 1 year plan because they say, maybe I'm changing my pricing next year. I want to do it the first year and see how it goes and see if I'm making money on it or not, or if I need to adjust my pricing. So they may offer different lengths of time and go up to 10 years. It's just up to you and your business and how you like to do business. You choose an annual price. So let's say 150, $150. If you're syncing, you need to, I'm going to go till uncanceled, an income account. So you're going to need an income account here. If you do class, you can put that here. Turning tax on or off. And this is a new feature that's coming out. It's not out yet, so my apologies for it being in the test account, but this is where we go in to test it. We are getting ready to code an auto send renewal reminders. So the way that this works from what I've seen is they will go ahead and have anybody who has a current maintenance plan. It will, if you add the plan to the customer, there'll be a box that you can check to sign it up for auto renewals when you add it to them. If you give away a plan for free, you may not want to set it up for an auto reminder because it's going to try to renew that plan at a 0 because that's what you sold it to them, gave it to them before for free. So you can uncheck that box and then it will send them a notification. They can sign up from it and sign up for a one-time payment or a recurring payment. I think you have the option in the templates for your maintenance plan to choose which one. If you don't ever want to do recurring payments, you should be able to turn that off. But I haven't seen the actual full flow of it yet. They're just getting the naming and items in here in stages. So we'll see more to come on that. Okay. If you have contract terms, you can add them by PDF or type them in here. To add a service window, you hit add, and you must have at least 1 service window for this plan to save or it won't save. Okay, you can add the plan, you can choose the start date, the end month, and name the job spring, fall. You can come in and choose the job type. and you can do a default for how long you think this appointment is going to take for your tech to do this. Okay, so that's how you create a template. Okay, so let's go over and take a look at my test guy. His name is Jack Dawson. And those of you who get the Titanic reference, yay. Those of you who don't, it's a 3-hour movie and the boat sinks, just letting you know. So maintenance plans, you would come to maintenance plans, and normally when you sign up for a maintenance plan, you would sign up from an invoice, and I'll show you that as well. If you come into this area and want to add a maintenance plan, let's say you guys just signed up and you have maintenance plans that were paid for in another system and you just need to add it to get the service windows in here, you can do that as well. You can choose the location if there's more than one location. If you come in and you don't see any under this location and they have a star, it's a good bet that they've got another location and you can take a look there. Okay, but this is going to be my default location. So when I hit add a maintenance plan, I come in and choose the location if there's more than one, choose the plan name. Some people used to have a piece of paper that they would give their customers and it had an agreement number. So this field was always in here. Most people now don't have that piece of paper, but if you do, you can add it here. The plan date, remember when we set up the description in the template? That's also going to show on here so that they know exactly what they're getting. Okay. The plan start, the plan end date, and there's our toggle for the auto renewal minders. Okay. The plan start date and the plan end date times the annual price is a calculator. Okay. This is one system and it runs for, get down here, until canceled. So it's from 2026 to 2046. So the entire contract subtotal of this is 3,980, and the contract total is 4268.55 and with the tax. So it will figure this, but it's not going to show that on an invoice. The invoice is going to show the 199 plus the tax on it if you add it now to an invoice. Okay. But the recurring payment will show 0 when you add it to the invoice because the payment's not due until the recurring payment runs. So that's a little bit confusing, but I'll show you that. So the plan start and the end date, if you change this date, it changes the contract amount. Okay, so this is a calculator. So always be aware that when you come in here, if that number looks off from what your annual price is times the number of years, it's because you've edited the date. It needs to be 365 in the term, like if it's 1 year, and then you can multiply that times 10 or 20, depending on it if it's until cancel. Whoever sells it, there's a report that you can track the sales agent, income account, class, tax group, okay? Have them agree to it. We call this next done. Then you go to the next tab. You choose the service windows. If you sell it in June, the next one may be in September, so you can always change these so that it'll show up and it'll show you the dates down here and you can confirm that that's right. Okay. 40 service windows for until cancel. Okay. Then you go to the reminders. Now, this is very important because when you have maintenance plans, you want to reach out to your customers to get them scheduled. And we have a report where you can use it to automatically send them notifications for them to call you rather than you having to call all of them and take time out of your day to just keep working through a list. So if this is not turned to on that report, it will show a 0 in the destinations and you can't send them notifications. You have to come back here and add these. The payment is not now. Okay, so if you're giving it away free, you can put not now. You can take a one-time payment and process this payment. Okay, you can do a payment plan, which is what we talked about. There's the payment totals, monthly, 240 payments for $17.79 a month. And that is a great way to sell to your customers who may not be able to afford the $199 right now. Everybody's used to doing things on payments now. So $17.79 won't break the bank, and it will help you get them signed up for the maintenance plan. Okay. Auto-generate invoices. Remember in the preferences, we turned that on and made sure it was on so that every time this 1779 processes, it's going to create an invoice, shake hands with that payment, and the customer balance will be zero unless they owe you for something else. So their balance is always going to look correct. Email customer receipt. If you want to run this in the background and not give them a receipt, you can. Some companies don't want to draw attention to it. I was always of the view that anytime I process a payment, my customer should get a receipt. So this is totally up to you as a company, what you would like it to do. You would put in your card payment information, and this will store the card so it runs every month. You can use a bank account if you signed up to do checks with us and put in the account type, the routing, and the account number, and it will store the account. Okay, so once you add this in here and you've got it all set up to go, it will show up here. Once the plan expires, it won't show, and you hit show canceled and expired plans, and that will show up here as well. So it tries to keep the window as clean for you as possible. So let me go back over to, I think I have a job here, maintenance plans. There we go. What it looks like on an invoice. Okay, my whole system is doing something crazy today. So let's try to refresh and see if it logs me out of the whole thing. Yep, it's going to log me out of the whole thing. So let me see if I can go back in and log out and log back in because it's doing something odd right at the moment. This is a test account and it has a habit of breaking. So let me go over and see if I can open a new one in another field and see if I can get it here for you. And if not, I may have to clear my cache, which will make me log out of everything. Yep, it's wanting me to clear my cache. Close this and see if I can get it this way. Sorry for the technical difficulties. It does this occasionally. Let me go back. Bear with me for just a moment. See if clearing my cookies will let me. Do it or not. Give me just a second. Whenever you have trouble logging in or anything like that, I do a lot of testing and I do a lot of copying and making screenshots. And that is one of the worst things for your cache. So occasionally you have to go in and clean those things out. So let me see if it will let me get in now. Yay, it likes me again. Okay. Next time I'll clear mine before we get to there. Okay, so let's go back to see where I was. Okay, we're at Dawson. And we need to go to that job for the maintenance plan so you can see how it looks on a job form. Usually whenever I have to clear my cache, it logs me out of everything. So let me go in here and start getting some of the other things open back up for you. So if I go to reporting and get the maintenance plan appointment scheduling report open, so that's where we're going to go next. Okay, still not helping me here. Okay. Let's see which one wins. There we go. Okay. So let's see, maintenance plans. Here we go. Okay, so if I come down to an invoice and I choose, let me get rid of this one. You'll see recommend a maintenance plan. So when you recommend a maintenance plan, you can go choose that plan. And let's see, I chose that one. There's my amount. There's all the totals that we saw before, and it gives you just a quick little template of it, and you hit save. So you can email this to the customer, and they have the option to sign up now from that email. Okay. Or while you're there, you can sign up now for them. They say that they do want it, and it's the same template. It's the same modal. Everything looks the same. Service, reminders, payment. If I hit payment plan, and this is the 1779 that we talked about, and I add this, it's going to add it, this line item, this name, this contract name to the invoice, and the amount is going to be 0 because the payment plan is going to set up to run tomorrow. So the reason that it runs tomorrow is because in our system, credit card payments settle about 7 or 8 o'clock Eastern time in the evening. They stay in pending until that time. So there's a lot of traffic when all those credit card payments start to run. So our developers decided that recurring payments would put a lot more traffic in the system at the same time. So they decided that they will run at right after midnight. So you can't set a plan to run a payment to run for today because they already ran really early this morning. So it will set this first payment date up to tomorrow, and it'll run on the 16th of every month moving forward. So it will show here as 0 amount due, and then tomorrow 1779 will run, and it will shake hands with the auto invoice, and it'll live on the customer. Okay, so anything in our software, red, you can click on it. I'm going to go to Jack Dawson, and I'm going to leave the invoice. Under the payments, you're going to see payment plans, and the payment plans will show here with the invoices. Okay, the stored card amount will be here. Okay, so you'll be able to use this if they have a service as well later. Hopefully they call you for a new system. You have this information to run again if you get their approval. Okay, you got it for the maintenance plan, but I would ask again, hey, we have a card on file ending in 6771. Can we use that for the payment? If they say yes, go ahead and run it. But one of the things that you need to watch is sometimes credit cards get stolen. Sometimes credit cards expire. So under payment options and recurring payments, this is where you monitor all of those recurring payments. And I'm using air quotations. Somebody in the office needs to monitor these because if they fail, they'll show up here. Okay. The merchant is disabled because this is a test account. We can't run payments in here, but there's bad card check digit. It will say card expired. It will say, sometimes it'll say stolen. There'll be a reason here. And sometimes it's the customer denied it. So you'd have to reach out to them, find out what's going on. If the card is still good and they go through, like if they denied it, they go to their credit card company and they say, okay, I'm going to approve it now, and they get it so that it'll go through. You can click the box and you can hit run tonight. Okay. If they have to change the card, down here is where all of your plans are, and you can click on the name and you can come in here and add an account and update their credit cards. So also you have a lot of information down here that you can see. You'll have payment plan reports down here, and you can create a new payment plan here as well. So let's say you have a customer who can't afford the repair and they can't qualify for a loan. In our system, independently of the maintenance plan, you can create a new payment plan for somebody. And when you create a new payment plan, you can put the job number, their name, everything in there, their email. You can go in and say, okay, so let's say it was $500. That was the repair. You could set up a recurring payment. You could set it up monthly, quarterly, annually. You could put the first month and the last month, and you can even choose the day of the month and whether to email the receipts to the customer so they know where they're on track for their payments. So it doesn't create an invoice. So you would either have to have already created an invoice for the repair and then set them on this payment plan that's independent of the invoice. And then when the payment runs, you would come to the payment list and you would see how this does not have a payment's not assigned to the invoice. You would click the three dots, edit payment, reassign payment, go find the invoice for that month's payment or that quarter's payment, however length of time you set them up, and assign it. So that's what you would have to do with any of those recurring payments for a maintenance plan if you did not toggle on that auto invoice toggle. You would have to come in here and find all of the payments that didn't have a check mark and reassign it, I would say every day, so that you would make sure that everything syncs over to QuickBooks to goes to the correct invoice. But that's a lot of extra work you don't need to do because we have that auto feature for you. The only time that you would have to manually apply them is if you create that maintenance plan that payment plan independently of a maintenance plan. Okay. So let's see what else we have to go through. We've gone through that. Service windows. Okay. So when you have a maintenance plan, you have service windows. And under reporting, there is a maintenance plan appointment scheduling report. And you can go in here and go sort by plan. Any box in our system that doesn't have a drop down is a multi-select. So you can go in and choose multiple plans in here, or it defaults to all. You can choose whether it's a current plan, a future plan. If you think you missed some service windows from people, you can go back and look at the expired plans and see if there are any service windows that you missed. And you can choose, okay, I want to look at only current service windows that need to be scheduled or the current and next. So any combination of what you're looking to do. The appointment statuses that you really want to look for are unscheduled. So unscheduled service windows are service windows that you have not provided your customer. So you would come in here and say, I want to see everybody who's unscheduled. Anything in WEX FSM you can click on. If you need to toggle the service windows up by your data sort to see which ones, say March to June of 2027. No. January to April 26. Yes, these are the ones I want to look at. So I see that there are like 5 or 6 of these. No, there's more than that. There's more than that. So you can come in, and if everything on that page is correct, or if all of them, you can go ahead and hit select all and review them. This gives 22 on this page that you're going to automatically send a notification out. And this notification is for them to call you to schedule this service window. When you do this, it's going to give a notification date. So if I hit review and send, it's going to tell me all of these guys in here. It'll do a little report for you. If there's a lot of traffic in the system, you're going to see a note here that says they'll be sent out and the report will come in a few minutes. So you can close this. And now that I've done this, see how it has all these last notification times on here? You can click on here and you can see it was sent today and who it was sent to. Okay. If you come through and you start scheduling these, and you can click on the unscheduled here to schedule them, or you can click on the customer's maintenance plan service windows to schedule. Those are the only two places that make those service windows go away. You can schedule it from here, and once it's scheduled, this will be scheduled. And so when you search the next time, the number of these is going to decrease, and you'll be able to see the last time you sent, and you can send it again. I like the three strike rule, send it to them twice. And then if they haven't replied, then pick up the phone. And the number of the people that you'll have to pick up the phone and actually call will decrease. So that will help the office people a lot. They don't have to go through and call everybody. But remember, I said if it has a zero, it doesn't have a destination. See how it has a one here? Red, you can click on it. This is the destination, okay, that it's going to go to. If that is a zero, that means that on that maintenance plan reminder toggle, it wasn't toggled on. There's no destination. So you would have to go update that maintenance plan to put in their email or their text for it to go to. And this number I've seen go up to 4. So the wife makes the appointment, schedules the appointment, says her husband's going to be home. She gives you his text and his email. And then she says, well, he has a tendency to go to Lowe's, so I'm going to put my email and my text in there as well so that if you send it, we're both going to get notified both ways. And if he's not home, I can call him and tell him to run home real quick. So I have seen it go up to 4. So you can choose on that service reminder window multiple recipients. So it could be the owner, it could be the renter, so that way you're letting the owner know that it's time and the renter know it's time. So it's just up to you because some owners want to manage everything and some owners don't want to. They want you to let the renter know everybody's different so that you've got these all in here and you can work your way through these so that you get the all the service windows scheduled. Okay, we already talked about the new renewal feature because those items are still in there. Um, Does anybody have any questions about maintenance plans or the auto renewal or not the auto invoicing feature or anything like that? Or do you do something particular in your business that would be outside of this flow? There's a lot of moving pieces in this, so, and it can get complicated. Um, does Payzerware suggest a format for a plan? Um, when you come in and you first log in, there's probably an example plan there, but it's really basic because depending on what you're going to offer, it's pretty much unique to your company. So like a 1-year plan for HVAC would usually be a set price for 1 year with 2 service windows, spring and fall, but you may have um, a light commercial application where they need their filters changed out quarterly. So you may have 4 service windows. So they that by quarters that you go out and you send your guys out and they change the filters. It could be a condo where you go out and you send your whole team there for the day just to do all of the maintenance windows. And it may or may not be broken out by apartment or condo because depending on who owns it, so you can go as far down the rabbit hole with these as you want. You can make them as simple as you want. And also you have to consider, okay, this person has one system. Okay, that's good. 1 year, one system. Then you go to the next house and they have 2 systems. They have one in the attic. They have one for downstairs. So now what do you charge them? And some people use the same plan and just mark the price up on the fly by like $50 to take care of it because they're already there. They're already doing the service for one system, but they just need a little extra time. So they throw an extra amount of time on the price. So it's pretty much up to you guys to make sure that it's something that you're willing and able to deliver. Because if you set up the maintenance plans and you make them so complicated or or you're touching your customer so many times that it's not profitable for you, then you're doing yourself a disservice. One of the main reasons of having a maintenance plan, besides keeping that customer close to you, because if you're not servicing them, someone else is that when it's time to replace their system or when it's time to do that large repair, they're going to call you first and probably not shop around because you've been providing care, you know the system, your techs know them, they know your techs. So you're building that relationship through these maintenance plans. And the nice thing is they're going to call you for when they need the larger service of the install, and they're going to talk to their neighbors and they're going to tell their neighbors. So you may get more business just by word of mouth because they see that your truck is at their neighbors all the time. And when they need service, that's probably the first person that they're going to ask if they don't have a regular company that's already servicing them. I'm not sure if that helped with the question, but at least it explains the why. Does that work? Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions or anything else you can think about? Um, I did want to talk about since I mentioned the condos and things like that. So you can create a template, a maintenance plan template that you can edit, and when you add it to the invoice that we talked about, that one still doesn't want to open. When you add it to the invoice, Um, you can edit the amount of the plan on the fly. You can also edit the description on the fly. So when you, let's see if I can find. So when you add that maintenance plan, let's say you have a template that you use and you recommend the maintenance plan and you sign up now, you can edit in here what you give them. So you can edit that template up in the maintenance plan templates. Is that just a template? You can edit this in here. You can say, okay, um, this one doesn't have, wish I would have chosen one that had like spring and fall. You can hit spring, fall, or quarterly, put in here quarterly, and then mark up the price as you go. So if you're giving an estimate for a condo, if you're giving an estimate for a larger building where they have multiple units or a duplex, you can sell them one plan and edit it on the fly and edit the price on the fly as you add it to the invoice. So it not all $150 plans will be the same in your system. It may be a $200 plan because you added $50 on there for the extra system. And you can edit these on the fly. That template is just a starting place. So if you have some basic maintenance plans that you create, like maybe three, like a 1 year, and then maybe one light commercial and one larger commercial. If you do larger commercial, three plans, you could put a basic price on any of those and edit them on the fly. And then that way you don't have like 25 of them like we have in our system where we're testing. Okay. Any other questions? Not from you guys. You guys are great. Okay, well, I'm going to let you guys get back to work if nobody has any questions. And thank you guys for bearing with me while I was having technical difficulties. I can't even say the word technical difficulties. And now I'm going to have to go back and log back into everything else in my system that got cleared out when I cleared my cache. So you guys have a great rest of your day. You're welcome.